Have you ever wondered how a single day can be so full of little adventures? What if I told you that every moment, from waking up to going to bed, has its own little story? Well, today, let's step into Luna's world as she shares her daily routine with her curious friend, Alice. My channel name is English Tone, where I teach English through stories and other means. Today's story will help you learn English while exploring Luna's daily routine in an interesting way. So, let's begin. The golden rays of the morning sun streamed through the curtains, casting a warm glow across Luna's room. The soft chirping of birds outside her window created a peaceful melody, signaling the start of a brand new day. The faint sound of the alarm clock buzzed in the background, but Luna was already awake. She blinked a few times, stretched her arms, and took a deep, refreshing breath. Just as she was about to get out of bed, her phone rang. It was Alice. "Good morning, sleepyhead." Alice's cheerful voice came through the phone. Luna chuckled. "Sleepyhead? Alice, I wake up at 6:30 a.m. sharp every day. You should call yourself a sleepyhead instead." Alice laughed. All right. But tell me, how do you even manage to wake up so early? Do you set 5 alarms, or does someone wake you up?" Luna sat up and smiled. "No 5 alarms, Alice. Just one. And I don't hit snooze. My body is used to waking up early now. Plus, my mom always says, 'Luna, a fresh start to the day leads to a fresh mind all day.' That's why I make sure to get up right away." Alice sighed. "I wish I could do that, but I feel so lazy in the morning. I just want to stay in bed forever." Luna shook her head playfully, even though Alice couldn't see her. "You need to change that habit. Waking up early makes a huge difference. You feel fresh, you have more time, and you don't have to rush through your morning." Alice sounded curious. "Alright, so after you wake up, what's the first thing you do? Do you scroll through your phone? Check messages?" Luna laughed. "No way. That's the worst thing to do in the morning. The first thing I do is stretch my arms and take a deep breath. It helps wake up my body. Have you ever tried it?" Alice hesitated. "But why do you do it?" Luna explained. "Stretching in the morning helps the blood flow better, and breathing deeply gives more oxygen to the brain. That's why it makes me feel fresh right away. You should try it tomorrow." Alice groaned. Maybe. But after stretching, what next?" Luna grinned. "After stretching, I get out of bed and go straight to the bathroom. The first thing I do there is wash my face with cold water. You won't believe how good that feels." Alice gasped. "Cold water? No thanks. I'd rather use warm water." Luna giggled. "That's where you're missing out. Cold water wakes you up instantly. It makes my skin feel fresh, and it helps reduce puffiness around my eyes. Trust me, Alice, it's amazing." Alice sighed. "Okay, I'll give it a try. But what about brushing your teeth? Do you brush right after waking up?" Luna nodded. "Of course. I brush my teeth right after washing my face. Do you know why? Because during sleep, bacteria build up in our mouths. If you don't brush first thing in the morning, it can cause bad breath. That's why my mom always says, 'Luna, brush your teeth properly, or you'll regret it later.'" Alice laughed. "Your mom sounds so wise. But how long do you brush? Do you just rush through it, or do you take your time?" Luna shook her head. "I take my time, Alice. Dentists say you should brush for at least 2 minutes. I make sure to clean all my teeth properly. Healthy teeth mean a bright smile." Alice sighed dramatically. I guess I need to start taking my morning routine more seriously. But after brushing, do you go straight to breakfast? Luna smiled. Not yet. There's one more thing I do before breakfast. Alice was curious. Oh, what's that? Luna replied, I drink a glass of warm water. It helps clean my stomach and wakes up my digestive system. Alice frowned. That sounds boring. Luna giggled. It's actually refreshing. And sometimes, I drink a cup of tea with honey. It's the best way to start the day. Alice groaned. Ugh, I don't think I can drink warm water in the morning. Can't I just have juice? Luna laughed. Juice is good, but it's better to start with plain water first. It helps detox the body. You can try it for a week and see how you feel. Alice sighed. All right, fine. I'll try. But after drinking water, do you finally get to eat breakfast? Or do you wait? Luna smiled. Now, that's where the fun part begins. Luna smiled, her eyes sparkling with excitement as she leaned closer to Alice. Oh no, Alice. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I never skip it. Alice tilted her head. Really? But I sometimes just grab a cookie and run out the door. I mean, does breakfast really matter that much? Luna gasped dramatically. Oh, Alice. My mom says skipping breakfast is like trying to run a race without wearing shoes. You can still try, but it's going to be really hard. Alice giggled. That's a funny way to put it. So, what do you eat every morning? Luna thought for a moment, recalling her favorite breakfasts. Well, at 7 a.m. sharp, I sit at the table and enjoy my breakfast. Some days I eat eggs and toast, while on other days I have oatmeal or cereal. Alice's eyes widened. Oatmeal? Isn't that boring? If I skip it, I feel weak and sleepy. Once, I forgot to eat, and during my first class, my stomach growled so loudly that even my teacher heard it. Alice burst into laughter. Oh no! What did your teacher say? Luna covered her face playfully. She just smiled and said, Luna, next time, have a proper breakfast before coming to class. It was so embarrassing. Alice chuckled. That's hilarious. But tell me, do you eat alone, or do you talk to your family while eating? Luna's face lit up. Oh, we always eat together. My mom, dad, and I sit at the table and talk about our plans for the day. It's my favorite time because I feel connected to my family. Alice rested her chin on her hand. That sounds nice. What kind of things do you talk about? Luna thought for a moment. Well, my mom asks me about school, my dad tells us about his work, and sometimes we just talk about random things, like my dreams from the night before. Alice raised an eyebrow. Your dreams? What kind of dreams do you have? Luna laughed. Oh, all sorts. Last night, I dreamed I was flying over a candy city. The roads were made of chocolate, and the buildings were made of marshmallows. I was about to take a bite when my alarm woke me up. Alice gasped. That's the best dream ever. I wish I had dreams like that. Luna giggled. Maybe if you eat a proper breakfast, you'll have sweet dreams too. Alice smirked. All right, Luna, you've convinced me. No more skipping breakfast for me. But what happens after breakfast? Do you rush out the door, or do you take your time? Luna stretched her arms. Well, after breakfast, it's time to get ready for school. Alice's eyes lit up with curiosity. She leaned forward, her hands resting under her chin. Oh, I wonder what happens next. What time do you leave for school? Luna checked her watch playfully and grinned. At 7:30 a.m., I quickly change into my school uniform, pack my bag, and leave for school. The school bus arrives at 7:45 a.m., and I never want to miss it. Once I reach school, my first class begins at 8 a.m. Alice tilted her head. Do you ever feel sleepy in the morning? Luna laughed. Oh, Alice. Sometimes I do, but as soon as I meet my friends, I feel refreshed. The bus ride is one of the best parts of my morning because I get to sit with my best friend and talk about everything. Who is your best friend? Alice asked eagerly. Her name is Sarah. She is always waiting for me on the bus. The moment I get on, she moves over to give me space, and we start talking. Some days we discuss our homework, and other days we just giggle about funny things that happened at home. The bus ride takes about 15 minutes, but it always feels shorter because of all the fun we have. Alice smiled. That sounds fun. So, when you arrive at school, what do you do first? Luna adjusted her posture and explained. As soon as we reach school at 8 a.m., all the students line up in the courtyard for the morning assembly. We sing the national anthem, listen to the principal's announcements, and sometimes even hear inspirational stories from teachers. It's a great way to start the day. Alice nodded in fascination. That sounds so organized. What happens after assembly? Luna smiled. After the assembly, we head to our classrooms. My first class is English, and it's my favorite. Our teacher, Miss Clara, is amazing. She always tells us interesting stories and teaches us new words. Today, we read a short story about friendship, and it made me think about how lucky I am to have wonderful friends like Sarah. Alice rested her chin on her hand. Wow. And after English, do you have a break? Luna shook her head. Not yet. After English, we have math. Now, Alice, be honest. Do you like math? Alice groaned. Not really. It confuses me sometimes. What about you? Luna giggled. Well, it depends. Some days, when we solve tricky problems, it feels like a fun puzzle. But other days, when there are too many numbers, I feel dizzy. Alice laughed. I understand that. What do you do if you don't understand something in class? Luna replied, I always ask my teacher. Our math teacher, Mr. James, is very kind. He explains things again if we don't understand. He says, never be afraid to ask questions because that's how we learn. Alice clapped her hands. That's great advice. What's next? Luna thought for a moment. After math, we have science. I love this class because we do exciting experiments. Today, we learned about plants and photosynthesis. Our teacher, Mrs. Taylor, even brought a small plant to class and showed us how leaves absorb sunlight. It was so cool. Alice gasped. That sounds like magic. Luna nodded. It really is. Science helps us understand how the world works. After science, we have social studies. Today, we learned about different cultures around the world. It's amazing to see how people in different countries live and celebrate their traditions. Alice tapped her fingers on the table. Luna, I have so many questions. But tell me, what's your favorite class? Luna smiled. That's easy. Art class is my favorite. I love drawing, painting, and making creative things. Art class is so peaceful. Today we painted landscapes, and I drew a beautiful sunset over a lake. My teacher said it was wonderful. Alice beamed. That sounds wonderful indeed. But by now, you must be getting hungry. When do you have lunch? Luna looked at the clock. At 12:30 p.m., we finally get our lunch break. Everyone rushes to the cafeteria. I sit with Sarah and my other friends. We open our lunch boxes and share our food. Today, I had a sandwich, some fruit and juice. Sarah had pasta, and she gave me a bite. It was delicious. Alice grinned. I love lunch breaks. Do you play after eating? Luna nodded excitedly. Yes. We get 30 minutes to eat and play. Sometimes we run around the playground. Other times we play games like hide and seek or just sit under a tree and talk. It's the best part of the day because we get to relax and enjoy ourselves before going back to class. Alice stretched her arms. I can already imagine how fun it must be. What happens after lunch? Luna sighed. After lunch, we have 2 more classes. Sometimes they feel long because we are already tired from playing, but I try my best to stay focused. The last class of the day is usually a lighter subject like music or physical education, which makes it fun. Alice raised an eyebrow. So, when does school end? Luna smiled. At 2 p.m., the bell rings and it's time to pack up. Everyone rushes to the bus stop. The ride back home is quieter because we are all a little tired. But Sarah and I still chat about our favorite parts of the day. Alice nodded in understanding. That makes sense. And when you finally reach home, what do you do first? Luna took a deep breath. Well, Alice, that leads us to the next part of my day. What happens after school? Let me tell you all about it. Alice asked excitedly, What do you do after school? Do you play all day? Luna shook her head. Oh no. My afternoons are full of different activities. The moment I step off the school bus at 2:30 p.m., I feel a mix of relief and excitement. School is over and now I can enjoy my time at home. The bright afternoon sun greets Luna as she walks towards her house. Her backpack feels heavy on her shoulders, but she doesn't mind. The smell of fresh food from the kitchen makes her stomach growl. As she steps inside, she takes off her shoes, places them neatly by the door, and sighs with satisfaction. My first job after getting home is to wash my hands and change into comfortable clothes, Luna explains. Mom always says, clean hands, clean mind. So, I rush to the bathroom, wash my hands with soap, and change into my cozy home clothes. Alice nods. That makes sense. But what do you do after that? Luna grins. Well, I rest for a while. You know, after a long day at school, my brain needs a break. I don't start my homework right away. Instead, I do things that make me feel relaxed. Alice tilts her head. Like what? Luna counts on her fingers. Sometimes, I watch TV, especially my favorite cartoons or educational shows. Other times, I read a book if I'm in the mood for a little adventure. Books take me to different worlds, and I love imagining myself as the main character. Alice gasps. That sounds so fun. What's the last book you read? Luna smiles. It was a mystery novel about a girl who solves puzzles. It made me think a lot. Alice laughs. I should read that too. But do you ever feel lazy and just lie down? Luna nods. Oh, absolutely. Some days I just lie on the couch and close my eyes for a few minutes. I don't sleep, but I just let my body rest. It helps me feel fresh before I start my work. Alice raises an eyebrow. Speaking of work, what about homework? Luna takes a deep breath. Ah yes, homework. At 4 p.m., I know it's time to get serious. My school assignments won't complete themselves, right? Alice chuckles. That's true. So, How do you do it? Luna explains, I sit at my study desk with my books, notebooks, and a glass of water. My study space is quiet and organized. I start with the easiest subject first to warm up my brain. Then I move on to the harder ones. Alice nods. That's a smart strategy. Do you ever get stuck? Luna laughs. Oh, all the time. That's when I ask my mom for help. She's always ready to explain things when I don't understand. Sometimes, I also call my friends to discuss a difficult question. Alice tilts her head. Doesn't that turn into a fun chat instead of studying? Luna giggles. It does. But we try to stay focused. My goal is to finish my homework by 5:30 p.m. so I have time to play. Alice claps her hands. So, after homework, you finally go outside? Luna nods excitedly. That's my favorite part of the evening. At 5:30 p.m., Luna steps outside, breathing in the fresh air. The golden sunlight is softer now, and the cool breeze makes her feel refreshed. She runs to the neighborhood park, where her friends are already waiting. Alice leans forward. What do you play? Luna grins. We play many games. Sometimes, it's hide and seek. Other times, we play badminton or just run around, laughing and joking. It's the best way to end the afternoon. Alice nods. That sounds like the perfect balance. But what happens when the sun sets? Do you go home right away? Luna sighs. Yes, around 6:30 p.m., the sky turns orange and pink. That's when I know it's time to go home. I wave goodbye to my friends and walk back home, feeling happy and a little tired. Alice tilts her head. And then? Luna smiles. Then, my evening routine begins. Luna smiled warmly. Evenings are peaceful. At 7 p.m., I have dinner with my family. We talk about our day, and it's always a happy time. After dinner, I sometimes watch TV or talk to Alice. Alice laughed. That's me. Luna continued, at 9 p.m., I start my bedtime routine. I brush my teeth, change into my pajamas, and say goodnight to my family. By 9:30 p.m., I lie in bed and think about the day. And then, I fall asleep, ready for a new adventure tomorrow. Alice sighed. Wow, Luna. Your routine is so well planned. I think I need a daily routine like yours too. Luna winked. Well, it keeps me happy and organized. Try it. Did you enjoy Luna's daily routine? What's your daily routine like? Share it in the comments. If you like this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to English Tone for more fun and easy English learning. See you in the next story.